welcome to your F51 Raceway Bench. So we're here with the Slotted 512 Ferrari. Real great car. Now I have a chance to tune it. Harry did a video on tuning these, which is pretty simple. And I'm just going to duplicate the same thing pretty much like he did. Only thing is I don't have no zero grip tires, and I'm just going to use the regular rubber tires because I can't currently get any because they were out at the time when I got this car. So all you do is remove the body, and there are three screws that hold the body on. And right here is the screw holes, or 1, 2, and 3 in the back here. These are for the pod, these 6 screws here. So you want to remove this one, and the one in the very back. And then of course, if you plan on using these, be real careful. They have small washers like that, so you want to save those because sometimes they will get stuck into the holes here and you have to probably tap it to remove it. What we're going to do with this car is we're going to change the guide to the Slot Invasion USA guide for my Carrera track, and then adjust the ride height of this axle. But first we need to put the guide in first and get our braids in there that we're going to replace the stock ones with these Slot Car corner braids. Real good braid here they offer, and then we'll go from there. All right, here we are. We got the guide installed with the wires. I'm going to use the Slot Car corner wires. I don't need this connector. I will unsolder this and solder these on. Now, one thing I want to make sure, and that's why I have a bench tester, is to make sure I get the direction right. So obviously we want to make sure we get the correct direction, so I'll pre-test them before I solder them to make sure it doesn't go backwards instead of forward. Sometimes that happens. But you see, I've set my ride height, which is real important, and the wheels, which you want them barely touching because they're going to act as outriggers when they go around the track. And that's fine where it's at. I did have to use, as per Harry had told us in his video, stack the shims in order to get this where I wanted to get it. And then I used my method where I used the set screws in the front instead of on the top like they did in the original ones. And they do have holes here, as you can see, for this particular guide that came with the car, that if you want to put them in the front. But I also used the very short grub screw, which is the M2 by 2 millimeter. The other ones are M2.5, a little bit thicker or longer, excuse me, and then they protrude out, and then it interferes with the rotation of the guide. So I've made them put the shorter ones in there, and that way I could get this action right here and it doesn't interfere with it. And again, I use a small pin vise, small tiny drill bit, and then I have a little tap which you can get from Amazon, and this is the M2 tap, and I just tap it lightly, and then I'm able to put those set screws in there and they work out just fine. It's a real cool method that Harry has been doing for many years, and along with Slotted, obviously, because Slotted's been doing it. But here we are with that part. Now we'll move on to putting the wires to make sure they're on correctly, and we may loosen the pod a little, all depends. I got my, again, like I said, I got my guide where I want it, and I'm pretty happy with where it's at, and we'll, after we get that done, we'll throw it on the track. Now that I've got the wires in the correct position so the car goes in the correct direction so it'll go around the track, what I'm going to do is I'm going to oil the motor. I'm going to oil the end bell here, just a little drop. Oil this other end bell right here on the end where the crown gear is at. I'm going to oil the axle right here and right here, and then I'll put a little bit here. I don't really need it, but I'll just put a small drop there and another small drop here. The oil doesn't hurt. And I'll even put a small drop here. Just let this thing kind of rotate kind of nice. I got myself right there oiled up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of this PTFE, I think it's to call it synthetic lube, and we'll put a little bit on this ring gear and crown gear. And when the stuff comes out, it kind of comes out kind of fast, so you're gonna have to little at a time because you just want a little dab like that. And then what you want to do is just rotate it just to get it coated. and just like that, all coated. You can get a toothpick if you want to, or your little screwdriver, and just kind of coat the gear like that. And there you go. You got that all set. Now we'll place the body on it, and we'll put it on the track and see how it whips around the So after getting this car all tuned up, and you see it run on the track, what an excellent car. Slot did a good job with this. This is really a smooth running car. And with those modifications that I done on the bench for this Carrera track, man, it's a lot of fun. Rolls nicely at 10.5 volts. You know, shimmed up the guide with about 230,000 shims. Stacked it a little bit. You know what? It doesn't seem to affect it that much on my track. Adjusted the ride height, of course, in the front, or the axles in the front. Lubed it, removed the magnet, got some body float screws, and what a fantastic car. This was well worth the wait. I know there's been some criticism of it because it doesn't have Ferrari emblems or whatever little things that may on there. Basically rivet counter, guys. I mean, you can't really complain. It's a Ferrari. So what if it doesn't have the badges? If it's really bugging you, go get some badges from, you know, decals and badges and then put them on there. But I really don't think it's necessary. This is a wonderful car. If, you know, if it bothers you that it doesn't have what the things you want, don't buy it. But that'd be pretty hard to get right now because these cars are pretty much sold out, and they did a good job on this car. I'm looking forward to the other versions of this that will be coming out. And again, this is an excellent car. I highly recommend it if you're able to get one still, with a little bit of tuning, some shims, changing of the wire, the lead wires, changing to a slot invasion guide, some slot car corner braid, shims, and the stock tires and the body float with some body screws. This is pretty good. This is great. I like how this car runs. So that's it for this video here on Area 51 Raceway. I hope you enjoyed me watching me tune this and running around the track, so you get an idea at least how to, you know, mess with these. Again, videos are just for beginner guys. There's a bunch of excerpts out there who probably do way better than I do with this, but this is just for me. All I'm doing is just giving the content out so people can see that if I can do it, you can do it. Not very hard to do. As always, take care and have fun racing.